Alright guys, so we're gonna be doing basic car washing today. This is a channel that a lot of friends, my wife, kids, and some friends have actually told me, hey man, why don't you just build a channel, do something just to share, some of the basics of what you know. Hopefully this will enlighten some of you, and if you already know, of course, this is just a video to share, and hopefully you enjoy. Thank you. Alright guys, we're gonna get with the basics. First rule of thumb is two bucket method, and the only reason you do that is you don't want to cross-contaminate your soap. You don't want to be scratching the paint. Believe it or not, even though your paint might look super clean, you are picking up a lot of contaminants on the road. You're picking up rocks, you're picking up pebbles, you're picking up the things that stick to the paint, stick to the wheels, stick to everything really. And as you're washing it, you basically what you're doing is you're creating your own little sandpaper. So from that perspective, the reason you do the two bucket method is you're going to use one for your soap, you're going to use the second one for just water for rinsing. So in essence, you're going to do soap, clean the car, dip it in here, rinse it off, soap, keep rinsing the car, keep washing the car. What that's going to do is basically going to prevent you from scratching the paint, creating swirls, and just that nasty effect. As you see cars on the road that you see the paint starting to dull away, that's part of it is that. The other part of that is also when people are using dish soap that actually cuts away in terms of your clear coat. So over time your paint starts looking pretty gnarly. Again, you don't need to break the bank. I do have a pressure cleaner. This is a Greenworks 1600 psi. The reality is you don't need that much pressure. You could probably go with something even less with less pressure than this. But overall, what you want to do is you want to use that to help you loosen up some of the dirt, some of those pebbles that I mentioned to you guys earlier. And again, from a soap perspective, look, you can pick this up at Target, you can pick it up at Walmart, you can pick it up pretty much at any auto parts. Again, you don't have to get into the specialty spaces. My buckets, as you can see, one of them is from Lowe's, the other one is a no brand name. Again, you don't have to break the bank to do these things, to do it right. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put a little bit of soap in here. All right, we want to have sufficient soap, and make sure that you have enough suds. All right, so we have enough of that. Then the next step, I'm going to go ahead and pause this for a second because I'm going to go ahead and switch from your traditional hose over to the pressure cleaner. But once again, you don't need the pressure cleaner to do this. In essence, you can still do it with a regular hose. So basically what you would do is you would take your regular hose, just water down the car, make sure that you have nice and wet. You don't want to go ahead and just start soaping it up without first getting it wet, because that also affects your lubrication. So again, always think about a sandpaper on paint, not necessarily what you want to be doing to your car. All right. So this is a prime example of sometimes you think your paint or your car's not that dirty. Look at that. Okay, so that's why it's important to lubricate as much as you can, remove as much as you can before you actually start doing the work. Obviously this right here, this little pebbles, if I were to go and scrub it on here, basically what I'm doing is I'm taking my little sandpaper and just scratching all over the paint and creating what we'll call swirl marks or scratches. All right. This is another portion that a lot of people forget to do. The reality is, just like when you're bathing yourself, if you don't wash behind your ears, you're still gonna have dirt in there. So this is the reason we open it up and we make sure that we're cleaning it just as when we normally clean ourselves. So we live in South Florida. It's been raining, the sun is burning. So as you can tell, the sun right now is nice and bright and hot, and if you look at the sky, the black clouds are approaching. And so I haven't really been washing the cars lately, but the reality is that they're filthy. I don't like to let them sit for too long without washing, because then at the end of the day, then you start getting stains on the paint. As you can see, I have some watermarks here with dirt starting to stick, so even just spraying it is not taking it off. So it's kind of between the sun and everything else, it's just baking it in there. So we want to be proactive with that as much as we can. Again, you do straight lines when you're washing. You don't do circles. You're not doing like the Karate Kid, wax on, wax off. You're doing straight lines every time. And the only reason you do that is, even if, God forbid, you're able to create a scratch on it, it's a lot easier for you to fix something that looks like a straight line versus something that's circular in motion. Okay. Again, very important, make sure that you're washing your gas cap, the gas compartment. Again, that's an area that tends to get really grimy and people forget about it. And again, what you're also trying to prevent here is corrosion. If it's dirty and it's got grime, all you're going to start creating is actually mold. Mold brings in rust, and you guys know the rest. So the top is done. So you still feel smooth the way it's supposed to feel, even though there's a few spots here that have a little bit of abrasiveness. That means it has contaminants. We'll get into another episode for that one, and it's gonna be when we do some cleaning. Alright guys, I think you guys got the gist of it. So now we're gonna go around the whole vehicle. Basically, again, we're doing it in layers, coming from the top all the way down to the bottom. And I know there's multiple ways of doing this. I know some people have their own way of doing it. This is my way. Doesn't mean it's the right way or the wrong way. It's just my way. And once again, I mean, this is just a very basic car wash for those of you that are interested in learning how to do that. Again, the most important point that I can give you guys here is make sure you're using soap that is appropriate for this, not dish soap. And now for the drying process. McGuire's, again, you can pick it up at Target. I'm 50-50. Sometimes I use to blow a leaf blower because it actually does a nice, decent job without really having to scratch the paint or anything like that. For today though, for all intents and purposes, I'm going to be using this towel though. My leaf blower actually is not working as effectively as it normally does. So for today we're going to use the towel, but again, same scenario, straight lines, no circles. The intent here is really just getting the water out so you don't have any water spots. We're going to be hitting it with a quick detailer after that, but again, in essence, just getting rid of the water. And then we're going to go ahead and add some quick detailing for my wires, which is going to give us some of that water beading action.